When last we left the party, they had just participated in a historic event which two of them are not fully aware of since they were busy fighting off the entirety of the sea beasts of the world. At least it probably felt like that, given the severity of the circumstances. Uh, there were a fairly large amount of Leviathan-sized aspects of water that they were fighting. Guido had some issues, literally casting as he's being flung through the air, stuff like that. Snarg actually did a lot of damage in that fight, really used those geomancy powers to great effect, and they managed to kill the assassin that was trying to disrupt the events. Also, we have these new portraits down here. They are a work in progress. I know they look kind of amateur because I haven't had time to do proper embossing or shading or anything like that. But let us know what you think. They're supposed to be emblematic of each of each character, and I thought that would be a cool way to add to the scenery, so to speak. So now the first thing that happens, I'm gonna just kind of jump in and tell you guys what happens next. The merchant vessel, which has just been horrifically attacked, you basically say, "Oh, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." You manage to talk your way through the situation. You make your way back up to the Maiden's Deceit, which comes in shortly thereafter as a relief vessel. You may feel free to lie about whatever country you say is sending the relief. The most obvious lie would be Yarak themselves. And there's, oh, thank God, and they take care of things and everything's fine. You also keep the diplomats of both factions. For a reminder for our viewers at home, that would be the two factions, the Directorate and the Viosians. Those two representatives are still on board the Maiden's Deceit. The party themselves then retire back up to the ship, a little injured, little kind of few. There's a few gashes from that last encounter. It was a particularly epic boss fight, but they did manage to pull it off, rather spectacularly. Now I'm gonna want the party to do me a favor. We're going to start with Snarg, and then we'll go to Guido, who's over there. Because we've fully implemented those new rule changes, and I just wanted them to kind of help highlight some of the changes that happened to their characters in particular, most notably the new feat system. Now, I'll go ahead and discuss what I mean by that briefly. We have this career point system, where basically, or actually I think we called it traits, didn't we? Coulson came up with the name. He had a cool idea for it. I'm pretty sure it was traits. So the idea is, you have been adventuring for a while, and you hit a certain level marker. This would be every even level. Every even level, you get a point. This is one of these traits, these career traits. And this point you can dump into either raising one of your attributes, one of your base attributes by one, or you can use it to make a feat. Now, I say make a feat very deliberately, because the old feats have all been flung out the window. So many of the old feats no longer apply under the new system that converting feats was just kind of So it's not like I'm disallowing you from picking an old feat that you like, but you do have to come to me and say, well, I want this feat, and here's how, I think it could be converted, blah, blah, blah. You are also, of course, and this is why I leave this open, encouraged to make your own feat. Obviously, I don't want these things to be ultra powerful, but I do want them to be pretty cool. I want them to have, some significance and usefulness. And so I have given my players a huge amount of leeway on what they design with regards to those feats. So Starg, if you want to lead us off with what you've chosen.
Okay. Well, I actually didn't have a whole lot of choice. Most of them were already written down when I got here. So I don't know.
I am the worst GM ever.
No, most of the stuff was just trying to keep with the spirit of the previous character. So it includes things like exceptional tracking. You get advantage in all tracking rolls. One of the elements, which we actually have technically a new stat here called elemental affinity.
Oh, I need to talk about that too, but go ahead. Unless you want to talk about it, go for it.
Well, it's essentially just like strength or dex or con or whatever. It's the basic 10 is a 0, 20 is a +5, that kind of stuff. And I actually have a 30 in that because I have a trait called One of the Elements, which I'm assuming I was put in my sheet because Geomancer and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, any Geomancer has a very large boost to their elemental affinity simply for the fact of being a Geomancer.
Well, I effectively have a 30 in that. Since the skills went away, one thing that kind of came out of that is I got something called Psionic Understanding, which all it says is can understand psionic technology. I didn't write that, so whatever that means, we'll see, I guess.
Well, it's fairly logical if you think about it. Like, for example, and this came up for me recently, because I was editing the Primus videos recently, when you were when you were at the port of Yarak Harbor, and you were like, and there's this ship attacking, and you're like looking at it for a moment, and you're like, hang on, that's a psionic ship. You recognized it. You recognized its design. You can also use certain psionic technology, the kind intended to be used by servitor races, the kind that doesn't require the direct link in.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of a thing. You're experienced with it.
Yes, Sentry for being strapped into your AK, whatever that last Stargate one was, I forget what the name was.
Yeah.
Universe, that's what it was.
Yes,
Universe. That got canceled, actually.
Yes, Universe was the one that got canceled.
Some of the previous feats have gone away, and some of the existing ones, like Endurance and whatnot, and Rapid Shot and Leap Attack, have new things on there. For example, Endurance now adds +2 to con. Rapid Shot turns range shots to swift action. Leap Attack adds a little bit to hit. That kind of stuff. Nothing that's really changed somewhat. It's just that they're now defined in slightly different ways rather than having a plus whatever to this. It's stuff like advantage on tracking rolls. Observe it, I can't actually roll below a 10 on awareness, that kind of stuff. So there isn't anything, really super unique. I didn't really gain anything. It's kind of a different way of defining what the character was previously.
Okay. So, Guido, if you will tell us what you've changed with regards to your character sheet and any of the new system and the way it affects you.
All right. So the biggest thing is I've kind of created a new damage feat. 3.5 has something called a devastating critical, and I've rewritten that a bit. It only works when I'm using my living weapon, Justite. But if I score a critical hit, then I have to roll again to confirm. And there's a fortitude save to basically not instantaneously die. So it's 10 plus half my level plus my strength mod, so 20. And if they don't make the save, they just outright die. Of course, there's going to be some GM discretion on that, but Justite will be able to do some more damage. If I don't confirm the critical, but basically I have to roll 2 20s in a row. So if I don't roll the second 20, it basically just does max damage. So that's the first feat that I took. The second feat, I'm going to be a little bit vague on this because I don't want to give too much away. My connection to the element of life it's not what it used to be. And if people haven't figured out that I'm a desolate by now, they haven't been watching the show. So, spoiler, I'm a desolate.
Wait. You're a
Hang on.
Hang on. Next thing you're going to tell me is Zariel's a desolate, too.
I would never make that accusation publicly.
Okay.
Only privately.
Okay.
So I've created a new feat that I'm calling Death Conduit. Anyone that is within a radius yet to be determined is going to be affected by an aura of unease and discomfort. And they will be at -4 for any actions opposing me.
Which sounds... Oh. Yeah. Yeah, which sounds...
So it's just a passive thing that's...
There we go. I'm going to try resetting Snark's portrait really quick here. See if this new version looks a little better. That looks so much better. That looks so much better. I'm going to do that for everyone. Please continue, Guido.
Okay. There's also some other effects that we will be discovering in game during gameplay. That
it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's nothing to worry about.
I really don't see why everyone is having issues. I mean, it's fine. There we go.
No one will hate me.
Yes. You will be beloved by all the peoples. There we go. And Zerial's is already kind of 3D. I could redo hers, though. Alright, so, dearest beloved sister.
How do you spell porcelain? Never mind.
Cough, cough, cough. Cough, cough, cough. That's how you spell it.
I am currently going through and fixing it so that things are not all over the damn place.
But have you chosen your thingies?
No.
Okay.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I have 5 things that I can either create feats for, or can decide to be lazy and just assign to attributes. But my OCD went haywire when I looked at my character sheet, and so I am currently redoing my character sheet instead of thinking up feats.
So we're going to let her not have feats for now, which is okay. Because unless things go really wonky, I don't anticipate combat or any major social encounters. However, my dearest sister does have one other
I love how
thing.
you say that when I currently have a high-level diplomatic meeting going on in my stateroom.
Oh, it'll be fine. There's no assassins on your ship at all. So anyway,
There are no assassins on my ship. We talked about that.
no, just the traitor. Now, you,
Snarg, it has to be one of your men, and I'm going to kill it.
Why?
Because it does.
However,
It's a great reason.
there is one thing about Zerial's character sheet that is relevant. So you might be thinking, hang on, Arsh. Or Laura.
Oh, you wanted me to tell about social combat. That's what you're getting into.
Yeah. I can if you want to pay attention to your character sheet.
No, I can finish typing that in a second. So, as a direct result of our skills going away, I have, as an orator, which is a primarily skill-based class, I have been given an entirely new form of combat that is actually only available to me, called social combat.
It is worth noting any other orators would get access to the same thing.
Yes, other orators may cause social combat, and then if they should combat me, I don't have to use my social combat points.
That's true.
So they
the
are
more
welcome
you know.
Anyway, social combat is basically it's at the same time more complicated and yet more simpletized version of what we did previously. I get boosts to my rolls, my social interaction rolls while in social combat, and I can cause encounters to be pushed into one direction or another. Brothers actually decided to change this as I'm reading it, since he and I discussed it last. So I'm not entirely certain how it will go. I promise you guys we will learn together.
Now hang on. You say I changed it, but
You did.
You have to elaborate, though.
I don't think it's necessary for me to elaborate on camera when I don't want to confuse the viewers with what we had discussed previously and what I'm interpreting what you've put on my character sheet to me.
Well, Lord knows
So
I
we'll
apparently
talk
don't
about
know
that
how to
later.
write rules, because it took me a while to get across Guido the idea of what his thingies were going to be.
Oh no, I understood what you told me about Guido's thingy instantaneously, and it's awesome. But this is not what we talked about.
Okay. Well, regardless.
I have cool social combats.
Yes, very cool. Originally, I was thinking about just kind of just tossing ideas, brainstorming about an idea of having social combat be a normal thing for everyone.
And we just threw that out the pot. immediately because it would basically triple our. I mean, we already do 90% of our stuff as role playing, and that would require us to add dice to it all the time. So we would constantly be rolling dice against each other just to have a conversation, even inside the party.
So I've decided to keep that as a idea for a future video game where those dice roll can be done like that. But for pen and paper, I've tossed it out the window. So, you are now on the Maiden's Deceit. It is heading back to Yarak as we speak. I'm technically opening the floor to you guys if there's anything you want to do, especially since 2 members of the crew aren't aware of who's in their hold right now. In the diplomatic...
They're not in my hold. They're not in the hold. They're in my stateroom.
In the stateroom, they're currently hammering out some specifics, but they're basically done. All that's left at this point is the details. They have agreed to a yes already.
And you said... Erg. Damn it.
Erg shows up. Yes? Erg of Safe.
Mission complete.
I killed them
Pretty
all
sure
for
you
you,
involved in
Master.
this.
Wait, you did want me to assassinate the diplomats, right, Master?
Correct.
Okay.
We'll protect them from an assassin so we can assassinate them.
Yes. No assassin will assassin them. Except for our... Well, you get the idea. That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
One way or another, it's not happening today. We're already doing kind of a short session, and I kind of have a couple of bombshells. I literally want to drop about 4 hammers on you guys in today's session.
Okay, well,
No, no.
Zariel is going to be standing outside the stateroom,
Okay.
keeping guard, basically.
Wait, where's my sword's like way over there. The next nearest thing I have is Void Yoshi. Behold. Oh, wow, he's not Void on this green screen. You can actually see him.
He has been purified.
No! It's okay. I still love you.
P-O-R-C-E. There's an E in there.
Porcelain. So, okay. Guido, Snarg, you get back up to the ship. Both of you are a lot more haggard than Zariel is because you two just fought a massive boss.
Yes.
You are still... your health is probably restored because you have access to regen, which is practically an
Oh yeah.
out-of-combat
Everybody
heal.
better be full health because I regened everyone spent half a mana last time.
But I was going to say, your mana has not regened, nor will it for another major rest, basically.
Wait, no, this sounds like a job for the kitchen.
See...
To bacon!
As you make your way up to the the kitchen, you discover that the Mosswort, whose name I just forgot because I'm terrible, has
Wait,
been
hang
Spell
on.
Golem.
Golem.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the weather.
Okay.
I rolled a 2.
Okay. Now you have a chance to oppose his weather talk if you want.
This is make a really great silly game.
Yes, it was actually.
There's another RPG that does something like that. I forget what it is. It's very tongue in cheek. It's like roll to walk down the stairs.
Once upon a time, PvP, the webcomic, came up with this whole fake thing where you could roleplay someone playing a D&D game. So you're playing someone who's playing someone. And it was such a cool idea that they've actually turned that into a real game since then. And so you can literally roleplay to be like, okay, I want to eat. The GM's like, you guys are hungry. How are you going to deal with this? I'm going to roll the Hot Pockets. And it's basically a roll to see if you remembered to stock Hot Pockets in advance.
Rogue's like, I rolled to use petty cash for our lunch.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff.
Bosses and cubicles.
There's the crew manifest. I knew I literally had a specific crew manifest. Okay, Blucklog of Meyerwitch. A 24-year-old male Mosswort who says, Bacon? Bacon?
Or bacon imitations.
Bacon. Oh, you want bacon imitations? I'm not sure I could do that.
Not if you got the real thing. We were stocked yesterday.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yes, you did. Normally I do the voice right now, but my throat has been killing me the last few days. I'm still not well, so heads up. Now, are you going to continue your sentences? You texted me something and then you didn't continue.
You.
Oh, never
I-
mind. It was just delayed
It was
on my
in
end.
regards to the text above it.
It was just delayed on my end. I got the second one just now. So I'm like, okay.
Just to remind you, was the second text.
Yes, which I just got. Whereas I got the first one like however many minutes ago. Like 3 minutes ago. Anyways, so you two are reclining in the kitchen. They have an assortment of alcohols, meads, ales, that sort of a thing. Which is pretty much ready to go for these kind of circumstances if you'd like to imbibe.
Well, Guido's only had one technically in dog years, so he could probably have a couple more.
That's true. If he wants to.
Periodically, it is a very good thing to read what you have in your bag.
What do you have in your bag, Cereal?
Oh, I'm just laughing because I just discovered I have Magic the Gathering in my bag.
Yes, you do. You got that back in Alluvia, I want to say. Or maybe Zeiss did.
Commemorative Valsenball deck.
Yes. You could go play MTG with the other two party members right now if you wanted to. We could roll to play MTG. We could do this. We could
I
make
only
it
have
happen.
one deck, so it would require them to have their own decks.
Snarg, I want you to add to your inventory.
Okay.
An all Knoll MTG deck.
It's okay.
Guido, I
Hang
want
on a
you
second.
to add.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah, what?
My spell battery. The note on it says it absorbs one spell per 10 minutes that is cast that can be then cast at the holder.
Mm-hmm. The point being that when I say absorb,
That the holder can cast on a chosen target. Can it absorb more than one spell if I just, if I've gone 20 minutes, can it have two spells?
let me double check, but I'm almost positive the idea for that item, because it was a weaker item, was for you
That
to have one
sounds
charge.
like a D&D spell storing thing.
Yeah, I'm almost
And if
positive
that's the
that
case,
has
it is
one charge.
limited to one spell.
I'm gonna just say, yeah, I'm pretty sure, just in my thoughts right now, you have one charge, one slot.
Oh,
if
wait,
you
wait,
will.
no, here's another note. Sorry, it was on a different box that just ended up.
Okay.
So there's another bag slot underneath that which says may only hold one spell at a time.
Well, there you go. I was right. Me from the
So
past.
what's this 10 minutes thing have to do with anything?
The 10 minutes is what I call the in-combat rule. If I say 10 minutes, that is my code word for in combat. In other words, 10 minutes is an insignificant period of time out of combat, right? But in combat, 10 minutes is, like 60 turns? Which is insane, So in other words,
Okay,
if
I'm
you...
going to change how I write that.
But the point is, it's designed to last until end of combat regardless, or if you use it basically immediately in out of combat situation.
We should do something like cast a huge heal into that for you. That way you can just go if you want to.
That would be a good pre-fight prep thing you could do. Get a big old heal stored in the stone for a combat, if you know you're walking into a boss fight or whatever.
Okay, so spell battery absorbs one spell that can then be cast by the holder at a chosen target. May only absorb one spell every 10 minutes. Does that sound better?
Sure.
Or does that sound right?
The point is, after 10 minutes, the charge goes poof. To make sure you understand that.
So I can't hold... The charge disappears after 10 minutes, or it requires 10 minutes to refill it? Like, if I use float, can I then immediately cast float back on the spell?
Yes.
Okay, second question. Can it absorb a spell that is directed at me? Like a harmful spell?
It is designed to, actually. So, yes.
See, I've been thinking this whole time I cast a spell at it, or someone else casts a spell at it, and then I just walk around holding this spell.
You can do that, but you can also use it as a defensive tool. I'm gonna, someone shows up, Flare 3, or that's impossible. Flare 12. And then you're like, ugh! You take the hit, because that's how it works, but then you have a free Flare 12. And it is free. The only thing that was required was the initial cast.
So it doesn't absorb the damage, it just grabs the spell. Okay.
Correct. You are
Okay,
not
I
a
gotta
blue
go potty.
mage. Okay, you go potty. So, Guido, I want you to add to your inventory an MTG deck.
All plague rats.
Yes! Yes! I had a friend named Ryan who used to do a all zombie deck all the time, and he just stuck with it and stuck with it and stuck with it. And it's funny because it was one of those decks that usually sucked, but every time it actually worked, it was insane. Because he'd be like, okay, sacrifice this guy to buff this guy to hit you with this guy, and then sacrifice him to do this and this. And his turns would be like 2 minutes long, as he's just constantly sacrificing his own guys to nail you. Alright, I'm done. Next turn, bring everyone back from the graveyard, do it all again.
Yeah.
Would almost never work, but every time it did it, it was a thing of beauty.
It's enjoyable to make that kind of deck. Oh, it doesn't matter if it wins or not. It's just fun to play.
Back in the Mirrodin block, there's these little creatures called mirrors, which are little artifact creatures, like 1/1s, 2/1s, 1/2s. I had an entire deck based on the mirrors, because there were a lot of cards that helped buff them with relation to other mirrors and so forth and so on. And it was this dinky little deck of, okay, I'm going to play my 1/1, and then my 2/1, and then I'm going to play 1,000 of them. BAM! It was a lot of fun, whenever it, worked out. Okay, so, you two, as you're sitting there, I'm just going to assume Zariel has decided to order the rest of the crew to not talk about the diplomats on board. So you two will not be finding out what's going on from them. However, you are noticing there's a noticeable atmosphere of tension aboard, which is understandable in general. You may or may not find that suspicious. That's up to you. But you are aware of the fact that the diplomats, the Yarak and Al Arkas diplomat is the lie you have been told, are still off debating. They're still off, deliberating and trying to hammer out the specifics of their agreement. While you're on flight back, you have a little bit of time to, basically do whatever. This would be an excellent downtime moment, but I'd kind of like to fast forward to that since we're a little low on time tonight, because, it's already freaking 10 my time. As much as I love the flavor stuff, I do want to get to the meat tonight, because I do have some meat planned for you. So, a Griever shows up.
Hey, here comes 12th level.
Stop! No, I am completely kidding. Although, well, no, I shouldn't say anything. I'll say one thing for our viewers. There actually is one Griever in the Inner Sea. As you might imagine, most people don't encounter it. So, it is possible for them to encounter a Griever while they're there. That is a thing. He's cool. He's just hanging out. He's just catching some waves. While you're on your way back, I'm going to go ahead and say, because of the duration of the trip and the fact that you guys aren't in a hurry, in fact, you're actually going slower than normal, specifically to give them more time, because it is the estimation of everyone on board, and I'm sure you two would agree with this, that there is no safer place on the planet right now than on this airship. And if you guys will remember, somehow, even though it should be impossible, somehow some assassin found out about this meeting between these two powers, even though I recorded to you guys last time. I know you don't remember it, I'm sure, in detail, but I went into detail about all the different methods they used to keep the meeting secret. It is very unlikely that someone simply accidentally stumbled upon it. So there's a little bit of paranoia in the air, as you might imagine. So again, the thinking is, you're on the airship, it's a concealed of everybody. You've seen Star Trek 6, right? You understand?
Which one is that?
The Undiscovered Country. The wall coming down in space.
Oh, yes. Yes.
In that movie, one of Spock's big points was, if we go back to Stardock, our advantages are gone. Right now, on the ship, we are a self-contained environment, and we have control over it. And that's kind of what you guys are thinking right now. We're here, on the Maiden's Deceit.
We headed to the kitchen. We're mimicking it.
And you're heading, yes! You're heading, someone shows in and vaporizes the pot just to show that you can't vaporize. Uhura shows up, Scotty shows up. You fake engine troubles. God, I love that movie. I need to watch that movie again. So you're heading back. Like I said, what you do with your downtime is up to you. Unfortunately, the next part I kind of need Zariel for. Come back, sis. I do want to say that I hope I have read your two characters well. Because something's about to happen that's custom tailored to both of you.
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
For good or for bad. So
Kill everybody.
well, I mean, we could do that route if you really wanted to.
That's the downtime. Kill everybody.
That's the downtime. All right, pick up a sword. So I do want to mention one thing with regards to both of you, actually. One of the things that we haven't really covered that much, because I've been busy off camera and we've been busy on camera, is the stuff going on behind the scenes. Now, I had a few ideas to try and remove some of the paperwork side of things of you running a mercenary company, or excuse me, a PMC, and you running a growing shipping company, right? I've had a few thoughts on that, and one of the additional things I've been thinking is, and I hate to use this parallel, but it's been kind of in my mind lately because of this, kind of taking a mobile game approach to it. And to explain what I mean.
Microtransactions.
No. Yeah, give me money. No, if you are sitting down to play City Skylines, have either of you played that game?
No, but I know of it.
I've seen.
It's a normal SimCity game. If you
Yes.
sit down to play a normal SimCity game,
SimCity done right.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You lay every single thing, and you set the taxes, and you set the policies, and you set up the lighting patterns, and you can change the routes for the buses. You can do everything. You have total, absolute micromanagerial control over the city, right? And that is indeed a lot of the fun of SimCity. But in pen and paper format, and the fact that we're already kind of busy with the adventure proper, I want to take you a bit away from that, hence the mobile game comparison. So rather than I want to set this residential and this residential and this residential and this road with this plumbing and this electricity and this everything, you plop down a residential and say, I want it to be this type. You know, it's a lot simpler, but the idea is for it to still feel like you're actually making choices rather than it just being run by itself automatically without you. And I want you to still feel like it is accomplishing something when it grows off screen. And on screen, for that matter. I very highly anticipate both of your companies are going to start having a little more on-screen action in the very near future. What do you guys think?
That sounds fine with me. I think we had gone at that a little bit last time anyway.
Yeah, we've kind of hashed around this idea before. There is a SimCity game on the phone, which is really what made me start thinking about this, because it is just like that. I mean, it is
Well, I can get resources by doing this.
Yeah, hang on.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Let me pull up some sound effect really quick. If I could. Oh God, I hate everything. Why does it take so long?
No.
I don't even have Fallout Shelter in my stuff anymore. Actually, I have it on my tablet. It actually works a lot better on the tablet than
That's surprising. I had the exact opposite problem.
Well, because I can't move stuff on the phone. I
Oh.
fat figure everything.
Yeah, I kind of have that problem too. Of course, I have this giganto phone of doom, so it helps. That's part of why I got the giganto phone version. All right, here we go. So, okay, so Snarg, you have just your agents have just come back from duty.
Hooray.
4 of them leveled. Oh, no, 5 of them leveled. There we go.
All right.
These two just they have.
I got a rusty BB gun again.
Yeah, I don't know where they keep finding them.
I've been out for 5 months. I'm almost dead. Here's a rusty BB gun. 10 pairs of pajamas.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Right.
So, Zerial, the 2 individuals, the Sentinel and the Bandoling, basically knocking their come out. They look kind of tired. It's been hours upon hours. You know, you've been going the really slow route back to Yarak. In fact, you're basically just kind of hovering around the inner sea, circling. And they come out and say, "We've reached an accord."
Oh, excellent.
And the Sentinel, kind of kneeling down because of how large it is like, "Yes, we have been decreed." No, they don't talk like that. I remember how they talk. I just can't do it right now because of my throat. So the Sentinel, in a Sentinel-y voice, says, "We have come to decide that it would be best if our forces fully and 100% merge one with another. We will actually be forming one overarching organization. And the best part is, thanks to the way that our organizations work, we don't even have to change our command structures that much. It will take us the better part of the next several weeks in order to get this information to everyone else and to disseminate it amongst our ranks. But for now, welcome. And both of them hold out a hand to you into the arms of the Dominion.
Maybe we should work on the names.
We actually had the thought of the Darathian Dominion, but we like to call it the Dominion for short.
Well, I suppose it's not up to me what to name things.
My compatriot had the idea of calling it the Ever-Loving Kindness Committee, but then he thought that would just generate the wrong kind of response.
Probably.
We are exhausted. Do you have anywhere we could sleep for the night?
Yes.
And the Sentinel says, actually, I don't need to sleep. The Vandal says, yes, I know. Do you have anywhere I can sleep for the night?
Orders for you.
Oh, thank you. Could you direct me towards them, please?
Yes, and I will walk them like 20 paces or
the
whatever.
Sentinel
down the hall
will walk
because
with
there
you.
are state quarters on my state quarters floor.
So the Sentinel will walk with you.
And so I'll turn to the Sentinel and I'll say, I'm assuming you don't like tea, but would you at least like company?
I love tea.
Oh, well, in that case, let's head down to the kitchen.
So Snarg and Guido, are you in the kitchen at this moment by chance? Because that would be great.
Well, he did say they were going after bacon.
Yeah, but that was like 10 hours ago. Oh, shoot. Speaking of which, I need to update the time, because that was like a long time.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's
what's your
like,
point, though?
It's
10
like
hours ago.
8 in the evening.
Could be eating bacon for 10 hours.
You've been eating bacon for 10 hours.
No, what's happened is Snarg has fallen asleep in his bacon.
In
There you
his
go.
bacon. It's in his... It's like when he sits up, there's bacon congealed into his fur.
Yes. This is secretly how I furred on everyday bacon grease.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, Guido?
We've been
Final
playing
question
like,
about the
betting
spell
games.
battery.
Okay. What's Ariel? Go ahead.
Final question about the spell battery. Tell me if this sounds right. Absorbs one spell cast at the holder that can then be cast at a chosen target. May absorb only one spell every 10 minutes. Or may... Oh, no, wait. It doesn't absorb. Not absorb.
Yes, it does not absorb.
Absorbed.
It is also worth noting,
So...
if you want to store a Flare
Only
12, for example, because you're a
lasts
Black Mage. I'll wait till you're
10
listening.
minutes. Absorbed spell only lasts 10 minutes.
Yes. Now, Sis, because you're a
Yes.
Black Mage, you don't have to nuke yourself with Flare 12. You can cast Friendly into the battery directly. There's not a lot of use for doing that, but for example, Snarg could do something similar like that, or whatever.
Yes, I can be like, Snarg, cast Gaia at me.
Yeah.
Or
In other words,
whatever
you
your
don't
healing
you don't
thing
have
is.
to hurt yourself in order to do it to yourself. But if someone else does it to you, you can basically intercept the spell, still get hurt by it, but have a copy of it ready to go. I just want to make that distinction clear.
Does that work on Ascension spells?
No.
Oh.
It also does not work on Doom spells. Although it does work on Oracle spells. So
Surprise in the box.
yeah.
What do
Yeah, the way that
I
would
think that's a great idea. Guido!
the way that would work,
could
by the
actually
way.
be Doom.
I was gonna say the way that works, by the way, if like let's say Guido casts an Oracle spell, and because it rolls a 1, it attacks allies, so she absorbs it, but she doesn't use that spell when she uses it. She casts Condemn again, which has another random effect. Because Condemn is the actual spell being cast. Make sense? And then it can bounce back on you again. And again, and again, and again.
Sounds like a great plan.
So, the Sentinel goes down with you to the kitchen. Are you two there, legitimately? It's 8 p.m. 8 in the evening. It's up to you. I'm cool with whatever.
I mean, maybe unless there was something else to do, which there probably isn't. So
I can't think of anything other than just like playing MTG or practicing or sleeping that would qualify.
I suppose so, since there's not really any rompus room or anything of that sort.
Yeah, not yet. We're still working on that. So the two of you spot a Sentinel, Red Stripes, stomping in after Zariel.
Intruder alert!
It's not an intruder. He's with me. Don't mind them. They don't really know what's going on.
Why is there a metal man on the ship?
I brought him on the ship.
I thought we didn't give tours.
We don't. He is one of the diplomats.
Okay.
I like how you're just flat out like, oh yeah, totally. You just give it away right now. No attempt at subterfuge.
So he was.
Problem with that?
Group?
Oh, I've just never seen a golem diplomat before.
It's not a
I am
problem.
pleased to meet you, Snarg of Wildpaw. I have heard a great many things about you. And he reaches out a large, clasped metal hand to shake yours.
All right. Strag will sniff it first, but then, assuming it smells okay.
Smells earthy, with a little bit of copper undertones.
He does the whole try to get the stronger grip when he shakes his hand.
You might actually have a greater strength than this guy, even though he's a sentinel.
So go ahead and roll
I
it.
was say, yeah, go ahead and roll it. Let's do
Social
it.
combat!
Social combat! Handshakes. Oh, I rolled a frickin' 19. Now, you still might beat me, because you got a ton of strength.
No. I only got a 15 total.
Okay, so, he's not actually squeezing, though. So you basically just try to squeeze, and...
At certain point
Realize
in the
you're
handshake,
not going anywhere.
he'll actually get the other hand, just kind of go, try to get the point across, and then...
Yeah! Feel that handshake! The Sentinel looks completely bewildered by this. Then he turns...
So, what
I'm
what
going
metal
to
men
kind of turn to him and go, don't worry about it. It's a Knoll thing. He did it to me, too.
what do metal men
understood.
eat?
We do not
He's having
eat.
tea.
Yes, I would love some tea. Are you... And he suddenly looks at Guido. Are you Mr. of Granitholm, the great paladin?
He's a paladin?
I have not heard many stories about you personally, sir. However, your company, Iseer Shipping, I have heard...
I have a ring.
I love you, sis. She's looking at her inventory for the first time in, I think, 7 years.
No, I have a ring I didn't have before you changed things. I have a bracelet I didn't have before you changed things.
Pretty sure I didn't add any equipment, but I'll take your word.
Bracelet of friendship. All normal people automatically like you.
Oh, yeah, those are changes of existing equipment.
Okay.
Because you had skill equipment that doesn't apply anymore, so it was converted.
Okay.
We haven't heard much about you in particular, but your company has been impressing us with its efficiency on the western coast around the Danby region. Rumor has it you've basically cornered the iron weapon market in Danby's outpost in particular.
Yes, that sounds like you, Guido. Doesn't it?
Ah! Ah!
He's possessed!
Ah!
I'm guessing the voice thing worked.
Yes, the voice
It did,
thing
but we
worked.
couldn't understand.
Yeah,
what
I
you
didn't know what you said. I just
It
heard...
came across.
Darkness.
It peaked quite a bit.
Okay. I'm rather pleased with how that's working out. Pleased to meet you.
And he goes to shake your hand as well.
Is he going to try to do what Snarg did?
No, because Guido isn't a knoll.
Okay.
He's
glad
not
I explained it that
stupid. He recognizes.
Wait.
I could just imagine Guido back in his room later that day, hammering out the dents.
The dents in his gauntlet, yeah.
Kunk, 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 kunk.
Like you know the scene in the first Avengers movie where Thor's got Iron Man's suit and he just starts bending in the metal.
Let's see, that's
Are you actually trying to do it? Are you trying to do the squeeze?
no.
Okay.
That's a 23 charisma for being diplomatic.
Oh, you absolutely blow this guy away. He's actually got a huge diplomacy score, charisma score, I should say, because of his nature. But I also rolled a 3.
Oh.
So he is very taken by your demeanor, which is great. This will lead great into something I've planned later. So he's very impressed with you. He's really impressed with you. He sits with his tea. Now, as you might imagine, he has no means of drinking. But what he does, and yes, I'm blatantly borrowing this idea, but I don't care. He holds the tea up towards near what would probably be his head if he was a normal person, and just holds it there for a while.
I'll go for everything.
Yes? What?
You're supposed to pour it in your face.
No.
Enemy defeated.
You gained 10 experience points. No, he says, oh, I'm sorry, I don't drink. I haven't in a long time. But I absolutely adore the scent.
Ah.
So this is how I enjoy drinks nowadays. I am particularly fond of the scent of various teas.
Why would you get water, or why would you get a drink but not drink it? I don't understand.
Because he can't. Quit being rude.
Here, try it, Mr. of Wildpaw. And he hands you the teacup he has been sniffing.
So I just hold it here and sniff it.
Yes, of course. What kind of tea did you get, see?
Whatever he would have requested, I got a whole cabinet.
Give me something. I know you have a tab on your character sheet.
Hold on.
I just
I
want you
got
to pick
converted too.
Yes, all the teas are converted to the new system. They all.
All
have-
right, we're going to say he went with winterberry mint.
There you go. So that's what it smells like, Snark.
This smells like something I got shampooed with once.
Shampoo. Oh, that's another thing I have not done in a long time.
Do you
I
just
can-
stand there and sniff the shampoo too?
No, I have no need of cleansing in that sense of the word. My armor is self-repairing.
Oh. Can I try? All right, hang on. Wham!
So you leave a dent, right?
Mhm.
And he reaches out and clenches his fist, and you see a faint yellow or... Hang on, was it yellow? This is important. The color is important. Give me just a second.
Wow, that's racist.
Shut up. So
I already
that's
have that piece of there. I don't need to put it on there twice.
Imperial. So that would be blue. It's actually a blue aura, excuse me. A blue aura kind of surrounds, like, from his chest and around his arm, and the metal literally just starts popping itself back out and reconstructing itself into full form.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm rather fond of it. It's been very useful, as you might imagine.
And diplomats get in a lot of fights.
No, but, well, I have seen my share of combat.
Oh, really? Where
Yes,
at?
in the Dyers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a fun place to be.
Wait, so you come from the Dyers?
Yes and no. I'm not originally from the Dyers, but we come from the Dyers. Although that's not true either.
Wait, what?
That is
Yes.
that is what he says.
Is
It's complicated. He was last stationed in the Dyers. Does that make better sense?
Much better way to put
That's
it.
also.
You are from Nevere now, but you're not originally from Nevere.
Okay, that's a better way of putting it other than saying I'm from here, but I'm not from there.
And now you are all from
They
the
don't speak
Dominion.
like us. You haven't figured that out? No, not really. Technically, yeah,
You're
no.
no. You are members of the Dominion state now.
Sort of.
Where's that?
I have actually already
Don't worry
been
about
in
it.
communication with my superiors on this matter. I hope to, in fact, as much as I have been absolutely adoring the scent of this tea, and please keep it there. If you can reheat it later so I can smell more, I would be very fond of that. I have to
course.
actually go coordinate with my superiors a little bit more. We need to hammer out a few details, but there's a few things I'd like to get dealt with right away, if that's okay.
If possible, can you and I talk about those details over in my quarters? There's some things I need to discuss with you before we sit down that are of importance and might affect what you have
If you wait in your
going on.
quarters, I will come knocking shortly.
How about I walk you up there?
Sure. So he goes walking up to anywhere that isn't your quarters.
I'll keep your tea warm, I guess.
Thank you. And oh, you could also so you're a geomancer too. Although you're over, well, I guess it's debatable where you are, but you'll be like flames. So
Cast down.
so you walk him up to your quarters. He says, "I will be in just a moment," and he just stands there, immobile.
Yes. Yes, I know. He's talking to his peoples.
Yeah, he's in communication right now. He will be that way for about 20 minutes.
I'm just going to stand there,
This would be an excellent time to tell
rifling through my bag.
This would be an excellent time for anybody to tell the crew that you're officially okay to go someplace now, because you've literally just been circling the inner sea, not the whole inner sea, just like going up and down the coast.
Yeah, I will. In my I know for a fact that there is an intercom button right outside my quarters because I've used it.
Yes, that's right.
So I'll go ahead and page down to the deck control tower thingy.
And the person on duty right now is oh, where is it? There it is. Jaloot of Boyle Reach. And she says, "Yes. What can I do for you, madam, mistress? I forget what we're supposed to call you, to be honest with you.
Master.
Okay.
Master.
Master, mistress, madam. Shoot, you can just call me Zerial. I'm not that.
Madama Zerial. What can I do for you?"
The negotiations are complete.
Woo. I'll be
may
sure to
head
inform the
back to
master.
port.
Oh, wait, no. You're going back to which port, ma'am?
That's a good point. Hold on. Tap, 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 tap.
King, king, king. Yes.
Iraq or the other one?
Actually,
Which port are we going
Fox
to?
Ridge would be perfect. No. One moment, please. Fast forward about 40 seconds.
I'm still holding the intercom button down.
Iraq, then Fox Ridge would be perfect.
Iraq first, dear, and shit, I forgot his name again.
I don't know who that is, ma'am. You're going to have to be a little more specific.
More
have
than
I'm the
obvious.
player. I'm the character
Who are
can.
you thinking of? Ooh.
The dude that pilots things.
Your pilot would be
Helmsman?
Erg
No.
of Seraph. He is the helmsman.
Yes, fine. I don't know.
He is a 51-year-old male drudge.
Let the helmsman know that after Iraq we will be, and I'm going to turn back to him, immediately departing for?
No. No.
We'll be preparing to head to Fox Ridge after that.
And she says, "Excellent. Do you mind if I go and notify the rest of the crew that we can restock in Iraq, or do you think we won't be there that long?"
How long will it take us to restock?
About a day.
Well, we
arrive
did
the
just
next morning.
restock a couple of days ago. Let's put off on that for now. We can restock at Fox Ridge.
As you
We're out of
Actually,
bacon.
no, we can't restock at Fox Ridge because, like,
because
it's
there's
gross.
nothing to be
Let's
restocked.
go ahead
there.
and restock at Iraq.
Very well, ma'am. We will arrange for a restocking. I will let Azimi and where's the quartermaster? Where's the
Can
quartermaster?
you
Oh,
let
there is
Greeley
Azimi and
know?
Cornelius. I will let Azimi and Cornelius know. Cornelius.
Yes, and arrange with Greeley to to have crew member guard in front of both of our diplomats' rooms.
Of course. They're already there. There's a bit of a problem, though. We don't actually have guards on this ship.
I know, but we have a couple of crew members that aren't really technically assigned to things, right?
We have
Yeah.
myself and an ogre named Tharg of Bladespire. Those are our options.
Okay, send the ogre over to the guy's room right now. I'll go talk to Bonebreaker and give him something to do.
Is
Hope he
Breaker
doesn't
still on the
destroy the
ship?
ship. Yes.
Why is Bonebreaker still on the ship? Why are so many people still on this ship?
Because I haven't sent Bonebreaker anywhere yet. He just got on the ship. It's been like less than 2 days since he got
I guess
on the
that's
ship.
true. I guess that's true.
Zeptek is off doing things. Craig is always on the ship, and Greeley is always on the ship.
It is true.
And then I have Millie on the ship and her whole family.
Yeah.
And Snarg's elites are all on the ship as well.
Okay. Actually, is that true, Snarg?
Or are they at Fox Ridge?
Yeah,
they were on the ship.
I
never
remember
let
the-
the ship land.
They got off at Fox Ridge the last time we landed there.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
they're doing company stuff.
that's unfortunate.
No, I thought we had. Well, whatever. Because I didn't let the Maiden's Deceit land, so I thought that everybody that had been on it was still on it.
All I'm going off of is last session. I talked about sending some of them off, and it was okay, but. I could
Oh,
be-
okay. Well, then never mind. They might not have been on the Maiden's Deceit. They might have been on the Maiden's Folly.
That's possible.
Maybe it was the other one. Yeah.
What
Viewers
is the
at home,
Maiden's
I'm
Folly
sorry
doing
about
anyway?
the
I'm
green screen effect
I'm
we're
gonna
having.
tap on my friend again. What is the Maiden's Folly off to right now?
At the moment, it is reconvening at Fox Ridge for new orders. It has just been recalled in order to get reassignment and a few more. There's a small grating metal noise. A few more add-ons.
Of course. Well, then, are you finished with your discussions? And sorry to have interrupted if you weren't.
I am not.
Okay, I'll be waiting inside.
Okay. Fast forward about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. And after that time has passed, you hear this. You wish to speak with me.
Yes. So, I'm not entirely certain how much of what I'm sure have probably been viewed as my somewhat. Well, I don't like a word for. I lack a word for it right now. My somewhat crazy musings, but the Daracost are inside my good Knoll friend's head. He has seen
Daracost.
visions of a Daracost woman who, the way he describes her, sounds very much like Lady Lightmane. Inside his quarters, and I know for a fact that there is no way possible for her to have been here, nor to have had a device planted on my ship in order to create a hologram of herself. Thus leading to the concept of mental manipulation, which I know personally for a fact that she and their kind are capable of.
This would be new information to us. To our knowledge, the Daracost, for all their skill in weaving, are not
Are
particularly
directly
well known.
descendant from the Scions, if not the exact same peoples.
Roll charisma, real quick.
Hold on.
That's the
I've got
combat.
my dice. They're just over there.
What did you say, third?
Social combat.
Social.
No, I haven't initiated social combat yet.
Oh, by the way, Snarg, third, whatever. I don't know if you've been watching it, but every Monday they've been pushing out a new Acquisitions Inc. mini episode.
Yes, I've been
Roll
watching.
charisma.
Okay,
Let me
I was gonna say, if you
scroll
haven't,
back.
you need to be watching it. It's awesome. And that's
So,
episode 3.
funny story.
That's awesome.
Did you
With the
know
will.
that my mouse for my desktop doesn't actually work on my laptop?
No, I didn't know that.
So that is a roll of a 13 plus a 5, which puts me at an 18.
Ooh,
I'm assuming I go by the mod number, not my base number.
correct.
Okay.
So, he doesn't know how to take that because he says, "You don't sound like you're lying to me."
I'm
So
not
either
lying to you.
you're
I've had no reason to
crazy-
lie to you, and that's not part of my contract with you.
Either you're crazy, or you're implying that. Hang on, did you say Scion or Ancient? That's very important.
I haven't heard the term ancient, have I?
Yes, you have for all of your life. You only heard the term Scion a couple months ago.
Okay, now let me ask you this: what I've learned of the Scions? Would I have been able to easily conjecture that those two things are the same things?
Oh yeah, the Scions are the Ancients, easily.
And I figured that out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But no
Then
one has
I
ever
will-
even heard the term Scion because no one's had any reason or course to do so.
I
It
will
is-
probably have led with the term. I will probably have led with the term scion, and flipped to the term ancient, like as I explained.
I need to decide something. Call it evens or odds.
Odds.
Evens. Okay, you're safe.
Okay.
That would have been
I
bad.
shouldn't know that term.
That would have been bad. Okay, so there's a moment's pause. It says, well, I don't know what a scion is. However, you speak of the ancients, which I have heard distant tales and rumors of.
Yes.
And you are
They're common knowledge on
postulating.
this continent.
Oh, I'm somewhat new here, as you might
I know.
imagine. And out of character, you know exactly why he's new here.
Yes.
And shush about it this time. I had to edit it out last time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Um,
I didn't catch what you were doing. That's not my fault.
so I'm someone new here. I will have to take your word on it. So you were postulating that they have the ability to enter and manipulate minds, or simply communicate to them.
So let me give you a brief history of the ancients and their society before they existed here.
Okay. Info dump, info dump, info dump, info dump.
Kind of. The abridged version is basically going to be when the ancients came into being, that scion is the word that they called themselves.
Okay.
The ancients came into power at some time ago rather quickly, meaning what I mean by that is they showed up and they took over the place, basically instantaneously. All of the lesser races, elves, humans, gnolls, Draenei, not Draenei.
Oh my god!
I
There's
looked at
Draenei
Guido and said
on
Draenei.
this planet? Guido, you're a Draenei. Just so you know.
What the heck is your race called?
Lugian.
Lugian. 100% of the races, all of the lesser races, instantaneously gave up everything that they had been doing in order to follow these great gods of the ancients. The ancients implemented a bunch of new technologies fairly quickly, including, they are master weavers. You see their ancient technologies, and it's fascinating how intricately woven everything was.
So if these creatures were in fact if the Deracost were these creatures, that would explain the Deracost's extremely advanced weaving capacities, and why they
Yes.
can exist within the Dyers when so few others can.
Yes, and it is distinctly possible that through the eons, well, not really eons, but through the years since they have lost the power that they held as ancients when they called themselves scions, that not all of them have maintained their mind-rending capabilities, but you do know that the Deracost do not age,
Well, yes, this is common knowledge.
thus postulating I am quite sure that at least some of them are of that original race.
I
They are
see.
from the time when they were still the ancients.
That could explain a few things.
It could.
As an aside, just for a little bit of real life amusing, I literally just yesterday recorded the video called Concerning Primus, the Deracost. Just yesterday, because people were like, we really want to know more about the Deracost. So I gave a bunch of in-character info about them. For
Knowledge.
example, the fact that they can't procreate.
Which that's not common knowledge, is it?
Actually, that is. What is not common knowledge is the Scions couldn't procreate either, remember? That was actually kind of a big plot point.
Oh, yeah.
The Scions had this whole experiment involving trying to create the ability to breed.
Procreate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the lycanthropes came from, right?
Well, you don't know that.
No, I'm postulating.
Yeah, I was just saying it could be.
Why
It could be
else
something
would they
else.
have created a subservient life form,
Hmm.
other than now they no longer, control the masses?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to postulate with him, and I will throw in there. It is well known that Deracost are incapable of procreating, and thus being the case, the ones that are here, rather than saying it is highly likely that that some of them have survived since the time of the ancients, she is going to say, thus being the case, assuming that 1 and the 2 are the same, which I unfortunately do not have the evidence to show you, but do thoroughly believe, having seen the evidence with my own eyes, they are one in the same. This group was there at that time. I have been subject to one classified as Fear Nacille and her telepathy and mind control.
That sounds horrible.
At the same time, it is more horrible than you can imagine, and equally not so. It's not pleasant.
That sounds entirely confusing. We amongst the Viosians actually have a long-standing policy refusing to utilize mind control in our methods.
Yes. Well, they use a biological, I guess, supernatural, I don't know, in the mind form, not a metal collar.
Well, obviously, the metal collar doesn't actually literally control you, though.
I wouldn't know. I was not outfitted with one.
Here, let's try it right now! I'm kidding. That's not what happens.
I'm sure.
Very well. So you're postulating that the ancients are bad. Now that by itself is somewhat of an unusual thing. Every time I have heard the ancients spoken of, since my time,
with reverence.
It's with reverence and awe,
Yes,
and so many of the
because we don't
advancements
understand
of
them, and most
technology and
people
magic and
believe
weaving.
that they are gone.
The modern Renaissance is attributed to the ancients.
Which, from
In
my
fact,
understanding,
if the ancients and the Daracost are one and the same, the Daracost are literally the reason there was peace in this land, up until recently, obviously.
yes, this is true. And they did so by mentally suppressing the minds of every other living being out there out of a sense of superiority because they could.
I see. I wonder if it's
created-
possible if only some of them still have their ability to use their
I would
mind
assume so.
powers.
Otherwise, have you met Daracost before? Most of them believe themselves to be more intelligent and smarter than any lesser being. Although it's not in vogue to call us lesser beings.
Well, I have not, no. As I said, I'm only here somewhat more recently. Very well, so you postulate that Snarg is under duress. No worries. We'll look into it. And
Probably a good idea. In the meantime, I would suggest limiting the amount of information that he becomes privy to.
That
At
puts
least
a
a time, because
severe
I don't even
damper
know
into our
entirely what I'm up
plans.
against. Like I said, I fear his mind has been invaded, but I'm not entirely certain if he doesn't have some sort of woven device on him which he's using to communicate and is just simply choosing to lie about it. Though he's not a very good liar, so I would assume that's not the case.
Unless he's an extremely good liar and has gone out of his way to deliberately lie in a way that's obvious, except
Have
for
you
the
met
times when he needs to lie. I mean, that would take some kind of genius yellow mage to pull that off, though, and that's just ridiculous. So, so is there anything else you want to inform the ambassador while you're there, or anything else you want of him?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Okay. You make it to Iraq.
Yay!
You land at Iraq.
Yay!
You get barrels of bacon.
Because Snarg ate it all.
Yeah.
As I say, I better get a yay for that. You guys start resupplying.
Also get an ice chip.
And an ice what?
Better get an ice chip.
What, the stabby kind?
No,
Yeah.
an ice chip, like a chunk of ice to suck on.
I don't understand, but okay.
It's a wild pet.
When you go in the hospital and you're having contractions, you can't have real food, so they give you ice chips to suck on and chew on.
Snarg, are you having a child?
No,
Well, I
I'm
didn't
just
wanna say
explaining
anything.
to you what an ice chip is because you seem confused.
So, you're doing the mid one,
Yes.
the midsummer. That's okay. I already have it. That's why I'm not doing it. Back in the day, I could give you my pulls for the day, but that doesn't work that way anymore. So, after some time passes, you are basically given a choice. The three of you as a group are given a choice, okay? So I want you to decide amongst yourselves. You can choose to allow, basically to formally, how do I put this? You can go to a meeting, or the meeting can come to you. We'll start with that.
Go to a meeting or
If the meeting comes to you, those people will be with you on the airship as you head up to Fox Ridge. And there's some political implications that if you're allowing these people on your ship, you're already joining them, formally and officially, which is your second choice.
I'm hesitant to allow any more strangers on my ship,
Okay.
so I am more inclined to have the meeting elsewhere.
Okay.
And it will be made clear that it is not a matter of... What are you...
I was about to point to Guido, but then you kept talking, so I was just holding my arm in
I will make sure to
preparation.
point out that it is not a matter of me, being hesitant to join,
Okay.
as I am already fully a member.
Okay, so Guido.
I'll just flat say, I'm tired of having this many people on my ship. I want people off my ship.
Which is funny, because you basically have a skeleton crew right now.
Yes.
You have like 20
And I like it
people
that way.
on your ship that's the size of a freaking entire school.
I'm probably going to get funny looks for it, but until I can find more people I can trust, no more people get on my ship.
Guido? Would you like to go to the meeting, or would you like the meeting to come to you? I want this to be a group decision. You're also muted. Which is funny, because I can hear breathing. Oh, I think that's Sis.
Sorry.
It's okay, I thought it was him. So I'm like, I can hear your breathing, but not your voice, which actually doesn't make sense. You have a very specific audio filter on.
Cast.
There you go.
Okay.
So,
I agree. I think we should go to the meeting.
Snarg?
Let's go to the meeting.
Okay, so it's unanimous. You go to the meeting.
Dun, dun, dun.
There are several red-striped sentinels there. A couple of humans. About...
Okay, a question for you. At this point, I've now seen a lot of red-striped sentinels.
You've also seen hundreds of the others. I just haven't really been
And I've
reading
seen
up.
hundreds of the others. But my question for you is, am I beginning to notice any individualized markings on them? Obviously, they have the designated red stripe.
As I tried to make clear, and I don't think I properly visually described, no two sentinels look alike. At all. They have the same humanoid appearance, but they could have different metals, they could have different paintings, they could have different gems, they could have different styling.
That leads me to my next question. Are there any that I recognize that I've seen before?
Not at
Other
this
than the one that
meeting.
was just on my ship, who
Not
I'm
at this-
assuming is still there.
Actually, the ambassador is not at this meeting.
Oh, well, never mind then.
But I will keep that in mind in the future if you want to start identifying familiar
I would like to.
sentinels. There are also a few banderlings, orcs, ogres, and one Daracost there. Now,
Do I recognize the Daracost?
no. I have described the Daracost quite recently to my viewers, which for the viewers will be about a month and a half ago. Nevertheless, as a brief refresher, especially since the party has never encountered a Daracost proper, allow me to give you a very brief refresher. There are 3 types of Daracost, okay? Pures, Revenants, Fallen. A Daracost relies on their mind, their will, their self, in order to keep themselves coherent. If that fails, their body literally deteriorates until they are a Fallen. They basically are treated, if you've ever met someone or know about Alzheimer's in real life, it's basically that. It is quite sad. They are still cognizant, but only barely. Most people don't actually encounter Fallen, they've only heard stories of them. Most people have never encountered Pures, they've only heard stories of them, but Pures have very, very, very shiny, fake-looking skin. It actually looks like it is solid plastic, almost like a Barbie doll, or a Ken doll or whatever. And they are very frail. Their arms, they have almost no musculature at all. And then the middle one, Revenants, is the one that most people think of when they think Daracost. Revenants are desiccated, but they simply look like they're very old and dried out. They don't actually look undead. They don't actually look like they're mummified or zombies. They don't have, jaws missing or any of the other things you usually associate with the undead, right? What you see before you right now is a Revenant.
Okay.
He is in several elaborate-looking robes. Zerial, roll int.
I am not very smart right now. Hold on.
To a catatonic state.
That's a 10.
A 10. Well,
For
under the new
reference
system...
viewers, I have an intelligence of 6.
Yeah, so that's pretty bad, but even with that, you can feel the magic wafting off of him.
Okay.
Like it's like he is vibrating, and the whole room
Is he
magically
trying
vibrating in relation to him.
like, is this innate magic? Is this just part of his being?
You
or
rolled a
is he
10.
trying- Okay, I'm gonna study him some more.
Okay,
Is
so
that better?
yes, but you don't get to do that roll yet. We'll get to that later. So you will start studying him as the meeting progresses, okay?
Okay.
Wow, I am really pink right now. So, as the
pink on my screen.
I know,
That
but
must have been your flux thing kicking in.
no, I have the green screen effect, but it never works right for the camera, and I didn't have time to put this down, so I didn't. So, I'm not going to go through the whole roleplay of the meeting, again, time concerns. Here's the crux of it, okay? The first, most important thing, they officially want the three of you, individually no less, but especially as a congruent group, to join the Darethian Dominion. Formally and officially. Now, this is not a serve us. Okay, that's not the attitude at all. This is you guys are awesome, and you would be tremendously valuable assets, and we would really like to work with you and to coordinate with you towards bettering the continent.
Okay. So Snar goes, He just turns over to Zerial and Guido and says, "What's the Dominion?"
The good guys.
Okay.
Lol.
And Zerial's going to, after Zerial whispers at Snarg, the good guys, she's going to say, "You already have my answer, as I'm sure anyone who's aware of my name on the inside
What
would
do you
be aware."
appear as right now, by the way?
I'm still in elf form.
Okay.
Elf female form. I'm wearing my fire dress because we went to a meeting.
I like that fire dress. They are willing to answer questions if you guys want more clarification.
Okay.
I don't require any.
When Snar is basically interested in finding out just what exactly the Dominion is, like what's their objective, what's their mission statement?
So, the Darethian Dominion, simply the Dominion, is interested in ending the war as quickly and as bloodlessly as possible. We are interested in dissecting Alluvia so it can no longer poison the cultures of the rest of the people. We are interested in establishing a more unified nation. Or not nation, but more of a...
Coalition of the willing.
Yeah, a coalition amongst the nations. Because for the last 100 years, the nations have existed alongside each other, but mostly competitively. Even if it was not violent, they were still economically and territorially and diplomatically and in terms of resources and technology and culturally competing with each other. The idea is to make a formal alliance of the 5, and he makes a point of saying the 5 nations.
How many nations are on the continent currently?
That's debatable. But he says 5.
The major nations, if
Well-
you count Navaria as one.
If you count Navaria as 1, there are 4. The point of calling it 5 is that he is trying to recognize that the Stoneholders are not a lesser race and deserve to have their own nation. If you'll remember,
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. How many? What is he adding in that's important?
he is adding the Stoneholders because the point, and one of the points they make, is that the Stoneholders were basically forced into an agrarian existence because of the fact that they were pushed out by the civilized races. And that's unacceptable. We could do better. 5 nations. And I just know Zerial would bring this up, so she'd be like, what about the Ulthoi? And the response will be immediately, the Ulthoi get along with everyone. We don't have a problem with the Ulthoi.
No, Zerial's not going to bring it up because she would have assumed that they knew that the Ulthoi just
Someone
get
brings
along
that
with
up so I
everyone.
can say that in character. I don't
But
care.
what about the Ulthoi?
Thank you, Snark. You get 12 exp.
Yay. On my non-existent experience tracker.
And if anyone brings up the Daracost, the basic statement is that the Daracost are already part of the Dominion.
What kind of say do members of the council, or whatever they're calling it, get in this little alliance? Is this like everybody votes to do something, or is there a head of this, or how does that work?
At the moment, it is a military dictatorship that is intended to be temporary, because at the moment, but at the moment, the one at the top of everything is the Lord Rytherin, which is a name you should recognize.
I know that name.
Yeah, you all should recognize that name. He was one of the 4 emperors of the Scions.
Where are we seeing Rytherin's information?
What do you mean?
We asked.
I'm going to use a trait.
You what?
Say what you just said again about Rytherin.
The one in charge of the Dominion is the Lord Rytherin, although he shares equal rights under our current system with Primarch.
We don't know that name.
That's the first time I've ever dropped that name.
Okay.
And I know that because I've been sitting on it for forever.
Is that a name I heard before through the Psionic Understanding?
No, you've never heard the name Primarch before.
I know that name, but I know that name because outside information.
Yes.
That's why I was clarifying we don't know that name.
No, you don't. But right now...
When they start,
Sorry, go ahead.
when they start mentioning all the Scion stuff, Snark's actually going to get take a look around. Is there Scion technology within this room right now?
No.
No. Okay.
So, I'm assuming enough time has passed now that I can re-roll my int roll to see if this guy's
fine.
magic is innate or if he's using it as camouflage.
Reroll your int roll. Anyone else?
Much better.
All right, I didn't actually finish answering Snark's
That's a
question.
15.
15 is enough to give you more information when I'm done answering Snark's question. The idea is to have individual bodies who govern their own sections, sectors, regions, whatever actually works best in terms of management.
Type deals?
Yeah, a governor type deal, similar to what the Navarre Confederacy actually had. It's just rather than just being this one chunk, we want it to be everything.
Yeah, this sounds just like the way they're presenting it, at least. A bigger Navarre Confederacy, essentially.
Yeah, that is pretty much what they want. So right now the military, which is the majority of the organization, is run by Primarch and the Lord Rytherin. But, for example, they will establish someone, most likely the guy whose name I've forgotten like 3 times. I forgot this when I was talking about him, too. Arnoth of Slayer would likely remain governor of Yarak, and Toltarn of Amani would remain governor of Al Jalima. And then they would develop either or recruit governors for different regions throughout the nations. And obviously a few would have to be established because the Stoneholders, as I've mentioned many times, don't really have an organization. So that would have to be a thing.
Okay. Since they're personally asking us, what kind of responsibilities and benefits are they putting forward for that?
That would depend entirely on your willingness and cooperation. We tend to operate, both of our organizations, ironically, unintentionally operate on the same premise, aka meritocracy. The better you do, the more you're rewarded. Very simple.
I am fine, and this is the point at which Zerial will pop up and say, I'm fine with maintaining my original agreement.
By the way, in answer to your question now, in answer to your question, he is wearing so much woven gear, you're amazed he's not exploding with magical power. He may literally have an item on him that reduces the amount of magical output his gear is giving. He is decked head to toe in epic gear and tattoos.
The likes of
Sheldon
which I probably have not ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, have seen, but not on this.
Yeah,
On a single person.
It's some damned impressive stuff. It would probably make Garland at least notice.
Okay. But I'm assuming I cannot tell if any particular item of gear is altering his appearance to make him look different.
It is entirely possible he is
But I
illusioning.
can't know for sure.
But yeah, there's no way to know that. It is worthy of note that in character, since you the player probably don't remember that much about the Daracost, it is known to you because of your undermarket connections and the fact that you know a little bit more about the Daracost than most people do, that the Daracost are physically extremely weak. It's one of the reasons the lycanthropes do most of their heavy lifting. So anytime a Daracost goes out and about, they're basically walking around in, I like to use this parallel, a walking tank. It's just in terms of robes and rings and gear, rather than literally getting into a battle mech.
Yes.
Makes sense?
Because otherwise they really wouldn't be able to survive outside.
Exactly. And certainly not in the frickin' dyers.
Yes.
So,
Okay, so this is not uncommon.
yeah, this is not super uncommon. You have heard about this. And like I said, he is clearly
I
in a
might have
battle
even
tank.
possibly seen one, though probably not directly conversed with.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
So, any other questions from the other two?
I mean, aside from the obvious other details that would come afterwards, such as how they're planning on dismantling Olivia and all that sort of stuff.
Well, we don't know yet, to be completely honest. And then they will answer that quite honestly. No charisma check, no social combat here. They know they're speaking honestly in that they don't know yet. They have not yet come up with the specific plans for how to dissect Osteth or Alluvia or the show or the Stoneholders. That's stuff that will have to be hammered out by people who are much wiser with regards to governance and administration. And we will try to get local help in doing so because one rule does not apply to everywhere equally.
I just had a light bulb.
Oh no. God, that's it. I'm out. Bye.
So what did the...
He doesn't have his headphones on.
Oh, I guess we can just ask the chair.
Hey, chair.
Chair, do nothing.
Good job.
If you agree to give in to all our demands.
He did.
Oh man, it's done. Recorded.
If you disagree, blink.
I don't see any blinking.
Okay. I'm fortified with
This
more
is a
carbonated
cleverly
water.
disguised break.
I'm ready to face the terribleness.
Okay.
Oh no. The player and the character both know that they just lied to us to a degree. I'm not going to point it out. But you specifically said that when asked, they would say that the Daracost were a member
So anywho,
of this organization. And my party members do not, but I, the character, and the player have pertinent information that says y'all are full of shit on that one. I'm not going to point it out. Of course, I'm not. That's stupid.
So continuing. Guido, do you have any pertinent questions before we get to the next segment?
Nope.
So they will start with Guido because I just talked to him. They say, Mr. Groundedholm, we are well aware of the fact that you have recently procured a new administrator for ICER shipping. She has only had a few days on the job. We have no idea how well she's doing. However, your
She hasn't
company...
even made it there yet.
She's quite literally not there yet. However, and by the way, this is something I have been assuming due to natural consequence, not by deliberation. But because of the fact that so much of your business is already going through Danby's, your company's de facto center hub right now is Danby's. So she's heading to Danby's to run things there.
Sure.
That can be moved easily, but right now that's where it is. So
Makes sense, yeah.
So that's where she's en route to.
Lunacha of Seeker.
Very good, yes. The former Prime Minister of Yarak, which is ironic because her position would be irrelevant under the Dominion.
It would be irrelevant or...
Irrelevant.
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 Okay, irrelevant.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. However, the immediacy of that move and her transference of job saved her life.
She owes me.
So, anywho, we are entirely prepared to start enabling you to expand exponentially. We want Iceer Shipping to be the first one on the list. You were given first option, if you will, to be the company that handles all of the military-grade shipping and commercial-grade shipping that follows in the wake of the armies during the entirety of the Great War.
Well, I'll need to upgrade some of my
All of your...
supplies.
We have a few plans in mind.
And Z actually said that.
We have a few plans in mind that might assist you in that matter.
Okay.
So.
I think I could arrange for being involved in that.
So you are at least interested?
Yes, I would say Iceer Shipping is interested.
Isn't it Iceer?
Isn't that what I said?
You said Aesir.
Oh, you
Iceer.
said ice here.
Oh. Well, whatever. My ears are wrong.
Yes.
Um,
Iceer.
If you would come with us into this separate room, Mr. Granitholm, we could discuss the specific contract details with you.
Very well.
So they take you off, and they are not leading you into a trap. They're actually there to discuss fairly boring paperwork stuff that I will not bore our viewers with. However, I will tell you one thing they have an idea of right now. Since your company is not currently equipped to handle scale and scope, what they are planning to do is claim eminent domain of existing ships, caravans, that kind of thing of the enemy, most notably Alluvia, and pretty much
Confiscate?
yeah, they're stealing them. And then they're going to
Acquire by not legal under the current system's means.
I'm trying to think of the proper way to put this, but they're not loaning them to you. They're basically rent to owning them to you.
Sure.
So you would
You're not going to make any money off what you're doing right now, but eventually those will be yours.
bingo. That's the thrust of how they plan to make this work. They think your company has potential because they've already been very well administered and have already made a massive impact on a small area. So, and what they want is that kind of efficiency and that kind of reliability and dependability. They want one patterned system that works for everywhere with regards to shipping. So they want the country writer, but for the entire shipping industry, not just letters.
They want a unified system, and they want it to be your system.
Yes, and that's the thrust of their offer to you.
Yeah, we'll be the new FedEx.
Well, I guess FedEx is pretty large scale too, but yeah.
Amazon would be a better phrase.
I was also picturing like those massive super ships, the super cargo ships that have literally
okay.
boxcars upon boxcars upon boxcars of stuff on them. That's where this is going.
Okay.
But, of course, that's on the horizon. If you're interested, of course, Mr. Granitholm.
So I would be assuming the, I'll say hardware and personnel from these acquisitions, yes?
Actually, what they would prefer is you handle the personnel side. You go out and hire people, or rather you have your people go out and hire people. Okay. And then they supply you, the trucks, the caravans, the trains. They're planning to take several of the railway stuff too. The actual Magicide ship trawlers, and hopefully the airships. Airships is a little bit trickier for obvious reasons.
Okay.
So, feel free to mull on that. Meanwhile, back in the main room, Mr. Snarg of Wildpaw.
Yes.
Say, Mr. of Wildpaw, despite the fact that you have insulted Miss of Seeker horribly, we would like...
I do.
We would like... the
Who's Miss of Seeker?
Lunacha of Seeker, the Prime Minister.
Oh, we got her out of
My
there.
minion.
Former Prime Minister.
Former Prime Minister. Former Grand Nagus. She... Despite this, we are to understand that you are assembling an elite crew above and beyond what a normal mercenary company would be prevalent towards. And you've calling this a PMC, if our understanding is correct, a private military company?
Yes.
We would like this group to be our primary special ops force for the entire Dominion. Now, we understand that you are hesitant to actually formally join us to become the wing of the Dominion. What we would then like to proffer instead is something more contract level, aka you would be hired by us each time. We would just kind of keep you on contract for a
Well,
while.
it's funny you should mention that as he looks up from writing his demands. No, that was actually going to be one of essentially that. Even though he may be officially joined, that Blood Fox essentially remain a neutral party/organization.
I'm trying to think of a good parallel for what I'm thinking here.
Preferential something or another.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are examples in fiction as well, where this mercenary group isn't actually a part of this organization, but they do 99% of their business with this organization.
Yeah.
Something like that is what they're offering the Blood Fox.
Well, he'll obviously get someone to look over the details, but it sounds like he'll agree and skip the role-playing stuff for expediency. It sounds like because he's going to say it differently. So it sounds like the something acceptable. Although he'll bring up concerns about how Stonehold in particular is going to be governed.
That's a good question.
It's going to be governed the same way that everything else would be.
Well, it is worth noting that the cultures of the Stoneholders are so disparate that we're going to have to really sit down and hash out our options. For example, you can't just organize the kobolds. They don't work that way. So we're going to have to give them a large swath of land and access to tools and resources of modern society, and then let them deal with themselves. By contrast, the goblins require a central authority figure because of the way their culture works. So we're going to have to pick someone and say you are now in charge, or allow them to pick someone, democratic thing. We do love what the Nevere do in general, this whole absolute democracy thing. So we're thinking about implementing that as well. The only problem is implementing that amongst the goblins will lead to a fairly large amount of infighting. So we'll have to really hash over our options on a race-by-race basis. But we intend one way or another to add the benefits of society: proper indoor plumbing, regular water source, regular medical care, regular access to proper magical schooling, regular trade routes, all of the benefits of society that currently don't actually exist within the Stonehold region.
Okay. So that's going to be his other condition for joining, so to speak, that he gets to be part of the people that decide what happens in Stonehold.
Well, for that to happen, you would have to actually become one of the leaders of the Gnolls. Do you think you can manage such a task? Now, for our viewers at home, I was kind of ready for that question. I was a guesswork, admittedly, but I was ready for Third, the player, to say, Snarg, the character, wants to be a part of the governance of the Gnolls. And I actually hashed that out behind the scenes a little bit and thought about how they would react to that kind of thing, and how I would react to that as the GM. This song doesn't work for this scene. Let's switch songs. There we go. So, I wanted to share that because I've been thinking about that lately.
Okay. Maybe not for the actual thinking he's the best fit for it, but for the opportunity, we'll say yes.
Okay. You'll have to depose Gnawbone.
I didn't realize he was the leader of the Gnolls.
He is.
He's the closest thing they have to one right now.
Yeah.
He might be quite popular if we do choose an election thing. We'll have to consult you in the future for how exactly the gnolls should decide upon their method of electing a leader.
Hmm.
Miss of no clan name given.
Just call me Zariel. It's fine.
Miss of Zariel.
Not of Zariel, just Miss Zariel.
Miss Zariel of Zariel. We wish to... No, shut up, Siri. Shut up.
Zariel of It's Fine.
Brain gone. No, actually, I guess there's nothing else. So you already have your deal. Those two are the two I really wanted to focus on. Oh, no, that's right. So if we are going to coordinate together, we were hoping you could assist us with certain types of operations that are difficult to operate unless you have certain things at your disposal that you do. For example, we do have a couple of problems, and we're hoping you'll be willing to deal with this for us as sort of a goodwill gesture. And he hands an envelope over to you, closed, not open.
Okay. I'm sure something can be arranged, assuming that I have the ability to take care of this for you.
Excellent.
I'll handle it.
Excellent. Mr. of Granitholm, switching to the other room, have you had time to think of our offer in the 3 seconds that the character has had, but the several minutes the player has had?
I find your terms acceptable.
Excellent. We look forward to working with Icier Shipping in the future. 1, 2, 3. So what they want to do now... Yes, that's right. So what they want to do now is they want to have a permanent individual who represents the Dominion on board your flagship, which is also your only ship at the moment.
Wait, my ship?
All three of you. You've been brought back into the main room.
My ship. You're on my ship. This
Well,
is my ship. Stop referring to it as your ship.
I just realized this is not where we are. Hang on.
Because
Gentlemen,
my flagship is the Goldraker, the Captain's Pearl.
Yeah, that's totally different. This is something else. Oh my god. You guys need to remind me to update the location whenever we move to a new location, because I keep forgetting.
We're on our way to Iraq.
Well, you're in Iraq.
Oh, we made it to
You're
Iraq.
in the council
the meeting
chambers.
happened in Iraq.
Having the meeting.
Sorry.
So they want to establish one person on the Maiden's seat as a permanent envoy to the Dominion.
That'd be me.
Well, no, they want someone who is not the three of you.
Hold on a second.
Now, they're open to suggestions, but they have a few thoughts of who they could,
I think Craig would work well for that.
No, we want one of our people.
Oh, you want to... Oh! Sure. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you wanted one of my people to
Sure,
communicate.
God, yeah, why not? Okay.
For someone who doesn't want anyone else on their ship,
Yeah, sure,
that
put
was
whoever.
amazingly quick.
Put whoever you want on board. I don't care.
She's posturing to cover up for her misunderstanding.
So, they're going to send a... Ooh. I'll let you choose. They will either send a Revenant, a former member of the Directorate, or a Sentinel, a former member of the Vyotians, as the
Honestly,
permanent.
I trust the Vyotians more. I'm gonna do the Directorate,
I want the players to decide
not the
this.
Directorate. No, I'm saying this as a Zariel.
Okay.
I trust a member of Vyosian more than I would trust a Daracost, because we've already shown. This is, of course, out of character speaking. We've already shown that the Daracost are not unified, so...
pros and cons to each.
Just,
I
there's
know it's kind of
communication.
coin flip for me.
I'd rather have the Duracost.
Oh,
Why?
I guess.
So there's out of character reasons, and the characters not trusting the Sentinels from the experiences in where
Your character doesn't trust it. I haven't been
right
smashed around by him.
that actually was in Yurak.
Okay, so
I'll just tell you.
The episode of riding the horse through the streets of Iraq,
Being chased by sentinels.
being chased. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Your character does not trust them.
So I'm more inclined to trust the Duracost.
Snarg, what was your vote?
I'll be a tiebreaker and say the Duracost.
Oh.
Okay. Then
So-
there you have it. We will have a Duracost, and Zariel will grumble for a little while.
I will design the character in more detail later. There's a couple things I kind of want to fast forward to the end here. We're already going a little longer than I thought we would be. So, the Duracost gentleman or lady, who is a revenant, as I mentioned earlier, will join you on the Maiden's Deceit. What level of importance are you giving this person's quarters?
She's not on my level.
So that means
I'm
she's in the
grumping.
barracks on a cot.
They're not on my level either. There's the master's level, there's the officer's level, and then there's the barracks.
Yeah, to my knowledge, you don't really have... Well, I guess you have some guest quarters right now.
I have guest quarters on my level. And then we have officer quarters. And I don't know that there are any that are unfilled.
I seem to remember all guests just going to the showers and never being seen again.
I was going to say, you still have, like, Millie is on your ship.
Millie is on my level.
Yeah, I figured.
That's my personal friend's level.
So,
Well, given how many diplomats this place seems to take on, maybe it'd be prudent to build a suite or some sort in one of the areas that we have open.
The problem is it takes time, and the ship needs to be docked.
now it's interesting you bring this up, because one of the other hammers I wanted to drop. So, the ship is heading to Fox Ridge, right?
Mhm.
Upon arrival...
Change the location.
Obviously, this is going to be... Yeah, change the location, thank you. This is going to be quite a bit of a fast forward. That's like a several-day journey, Fox Ridge. So that's going to be about there. When you get there, there's some other details I'd really like to cover next session, so don't let me forget. But the really important part is the Dominion has decided to combine forces in order to go ahead and offer to renovate your flagship, by which I am referring to the Maiden's Deceit. Now here's how this is going to work. So the Maiden's Deceit can go ahead and select an upgrade, bless you. Can select an upgrade. Nothing huge, but like for example, a string of guest quarters would be an example of an upgrade. Not one guest quarter, but like a row of them or whatever would be an upgrade. Better armor plating would be an upgrade. More weapon emplacements, better weapon emplacements. All these things are like one upgrade, right? As you accomplish more for the Dominion, you earn more upgrades. This is the basic way this system is going to work. This is effectively completely free. There is a cost, though. Two costs, actually. First, as Guido so aptly pointed out, you lose the operation of the ship while it's in there, and it's going to take a while to upgrade it. Not like in the months range, but I'd say, just off the top of my head, we're going to say a minimum of a week in dock to do an upgrade. And it would probably depend based on the upgrade chosen, right? So that's a week without the ship. The second cost is the fact that... Hang on. This will make sense for editing, so give me a second. The second cost that is going to be required here is the fact that you are having to allow the Dominion pretty much full and total access to the ship. They can't upgrade the armor plating without literally pulling her apart and adding new armor plating, right? These are the costs for these upgrades. There are still other methods to procure upgrades for the ship, but this is something that is now offered to you, thanks to your allegiance with the Dominion. You don't have to decide right now.
Still your ship, Zariel.
You don't have to decide right now if you don't want to, but I want you to chew on that one way or the other. Also, you technically already knew about this because I mentioned it in the car. Next point. So you get there. There's some stuff happening, which I'll cover later. And you are offered... do you check that folder sometime in the like day and a half journey? Okay, so apparently in the folder, it mentions that there are 2 rogue humans and an elemental, which are causing issues for the Vyotians in the south. They want you to deal with them.
I'm gonna go kill Javin.
Doesn't mention anything about an elf.
No.
Oh.
The exchange is under the notice, not what the other party is doing. But there's this
so there are
human
2
named
rogue
Rory,
humans and
this
an
human
elf.
named Higaide. No, and an elemental.
Yeah, that's what I said. There are 2 rogue humans and an elemental that I need to go deal with.
Yes, they have been causing a great deal of disruptions down south. More details to come, because technically they haven't had some of those adventures yet.
Okay.
And so that's what's in the envelope. The final thing I want you guys to chew on over the next week or so. Are we all good for next Thursday?
Yes.
Because I believe I don't have anything. I'm almost positive.
90% certain I am scheduled myself off next Thursday. I will double check. I don't recall. That's this week because today's my birthday.
Guido?
Yes, I am off.
Pretty sure I'm just trying to double check, but it's not loading here.
So I'm just going to assume for the moment that you guys have a week to mull on these things. So if you want to make a note, please feel free. First of all, think about the airship upgrade thing. I think that should be kind of a party idea, not just Sis's, because that's the way I think. I've always thought in terms of party loot, not player loot.
No, I've already, as much as the character is going to grumble about it and doesn't want lycanthropes on her ship.
There's something about that, don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, once that situation has been dealt with to her satisfaction, then she won't have an argument against it.
Okay. So that's the first thing I want you guys to think about for the next week. The upgrade thing. The SimCity parallel I gave earlier. If you guys have any upgrades planned for either of your things, this would be a great time to think about them off camera, toss me ideas, whatever. And the third thing is they're like when you get there, so, they'll start doing whatever. Maybe they'll start upgrading the ship. You'll have a boss fight. Spoiler
Will we get a long
alert.
rest in? Because you said it took over a day. Is that what you're saying?
You do have a long rest in, so you're fully
right.
free when you get up to it.
Yay! I can
And-
assume I've been healed.
Yes, you've all been healed. All your mana's back up. However, after the boss fight, you are going to be offered a choice of basically a contract for something to work for with regards for the Dominion as a party. I'm giving you 3 very generic ideas. I'm not going to give you any details right now for obvious reasons. The 3 contracts are basically diplomacy, heist, assassinate. Or excuse me, 4 contracts: diplomacy, heist, assassination, war. Someone please write those down.
I'll ask you to explain that to me later.
Well, someone.
Diplomacy, heist, assassination, war.
Yes, those are the 4 jobs, quests, whatever you want to call them. The quest hook. There's this giant, what's the guy in Overwatch? I can't think of his name all of a sudden.
Roadhog.
Roadhog shows up and he's like, "Ugh!" And he's just got quest labeled all over him. It's like, "Come here!" Yeah, and he yanks you over to it.
Then he shoots you in the face with a shotgun. This is a terrible analogy.
Actually, no, I think that works pretty well.
Alright.
So those are the 3 big decisions I want you guys to mull on for the next week. Any questions before we cut it off? And I swear, viewers at home, I'll move the damn green screen next time. I just really didn't have the availability to do so today. Sorry, guys.
Not the moment.
Guido, anything?
No, I'm good.
Zariel, anything? All right, then we will go ahead and chop it off.
Hey.